Hello, Shalom. Doing something different. Read with me the Daily Bread. It's going to be bite-sized pieces of the scriptures. Today we'll be reading. It's designed to 1 year and be able to read the whole book. Okay. So we're going to read Genesis 1 through all the way through 2-3, Joshua 1-2, Psalms 1 and 2, Matthew 1, and Proverbs 1. The right glasses. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. We're in Genesis 1, or Bereshith. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. And Elohim said, "Let light come to be," and light came to be. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good, and Elohim separated the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there came to be an evening, and there came to be a morning, one day. So the night precedes the day. And Elohim said, "Let an expanse come to be in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." Waters. I'm from Philly, so water sounds like that. And Elohim made the expanse, and separate the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse. And it came to be so. And Elohim called the expanse heavens. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the second day. And Elohim said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it came to be so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the collection of the waters he called seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, and the plant that yields seed, and the fruit trees that yield fruits according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth." And it came to be so. And the earth brought forth grass, and the plant that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the third day. And Elohim said, let lights come to be in the expanse of the heavens, to separate the day from the night, and let them be signs for appointed times for the days and years. And let them be for lights in the expanse of the heavens, to give light on the earth. And it came to be so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. And Elohim set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning the fourth day. And Elohim said, let the waters teem with shoals of living beings, and let birds fly above the earth on the face of the expanse of the heavens. And Elohim created great sea creatures, and every living being that moves, with which the waters teemed according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful and increase, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning the fifth day. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living being according to its kind, livestock and creeping creatures, and beasts of the earth according to its kind. And it came to be so. And Elohim made the beast of the earth according to its kind, livestock according to its kind, and all the creep of the earth according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the seas, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creeping creatures that creep on the ground. And Elohim created the man in his image. In the image of Elohim he created him. Male and female he created them. And Elohim blessed them. And Elohim said to them, be fruitful and increase, and fill the earth and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over the creeping creatures on the earth. And Elohim said, see, I have given you every plant that yields seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed to you is for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to every creeping creature of the earth, on the earth, in which there is a living being, every green plant is for food. And it came to be so. And Elohim saw all that he had made, and see, it was very good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning the sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their array. And in the seventh day Elohim completed his work which he had done, and rested in the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day, and set it apart, because on it he rested from all his work which Elohim in creating had made. These are the births of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahweh Elohim made earth and heavens. Now no shrub of the field has yet on the earth, and no plant in the field had yet sprung up, for Elohim had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no man to till the ground. But a mist went up from the earth and watered the entire surface of the ground. And Yahweh Elohim formed the man out of the dust of from the ground, and breathed into his nostrils, breathed out lives, breath out lives. And the man became a living being. And Yahweh Elohim planted a garden in Eden to the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And on the ground Yahweh Elohim made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, with the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided and became four heads. The name of the first is Pishon, Pishon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. Bdellium is there, and the Shoham stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. It is one surrounding the entire land of Cush. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. And then it is the one which goes toward the east of Asher. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. And Yahweh Elohim took the man, put him in the garden of Eden to work it, to guard it. And Yahweh Elohim commanded the man, saying, Eat of every tree of the garden, but do not eat the tree of knowledge of good and evil. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall certainly die. And Yahweh Elohim said, It is not good for man to be alone. I am going to make a helper for him as his counterpart. And on the ground Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called each living being, that's what its name was. So the man gave names to all livestock and to all the birds of the heavens and to every beast of the field. But for the man there was not found a helper for him as his counterpart. So Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall on the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. And the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from the man, he made him a woman. And he brought her to the man. And the man said, This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. This one is called a woman, because she was taken out of man. For this cause a man shall leave his father and mother, and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, and the man and his wife, yet they were not ashamed. It's the end of the Genesis part of this. We'll be reading Joshua 1 and 2. And it came to be after the death of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, that Yahweh spoke to Joshua, son of Nun, the assistant of Moshe, saying, Moshe, my servant, is dead. So now arise, pass over this Jordan, you and all the people, to the land which I am giving to them, to the children of Israel. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads, I have given to you, as I have spoken to Moshe. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even as far as the great river Euphrates, and all the land of the Hittites, and the great sea toward the going down of the sun is your border. No man is going to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moshe, so I am with you. I do not fail you nor forsake you. Some also think that Joshua was the first ranger. So, anyway, be strong and courageous, for you are to let this people inherit the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous to guard to do according to all the Torah which Moshe my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it right or left, so that you act wisely wherever you go. Do not let this book of the Torah depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, so that you guard to do according to all that is written in it. For then you shall make your way prosperous and act wisely. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, nor be discouraged, for Yahweh your Elohim is with you wherever you go. And Joshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, Pass through the midst of the camp, and command the people, saying, Prepare food for yourselves, for within 3 days you are passing over this Jordan, to go into the land, possess the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you to possess. And Joshua spoke to the Reubenites and to the Gadites and half the tribes of Manasseh, saying, Remember the word which Moshe, servant of Yahweh, commanded you, saying, Yahweh your Elohim is giving you rest, and he shall give you this land. Let your wives, your little ones, and your livestock stay in the land which Moshe gave you beyond the Jordan, but you shall pass before your brothers in fives, all your brave fighters, and shall help them, until Yahweh has given your brothers rest, as unto you. So shall they also take possession of the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving them. Then you shall return to the land of your possession, and shall possess that which Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, gave you beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun. So it sounds like they're going to help them move. Did they get a pizza? And he answered Joshua, saying, All that you have commanded us we do, and wherever you send us we go. According to all that we obeyed Moshe, so we obey you. Only let Yahweh your Elohim be with you, as he was with Moshe. Whoever rebels against your mouth and does not obey your words is not all that you command, and all that you command him is put to death. Only be strong and courageous. Joshua 2. And Joshua son of Nun secretly sent out 2 men from Sheminith to spy, saying, Go, see the land and Jericho. And they went, and they came to the house of a woman, a whore, and her name was Rahab. And they lay down there. But it was reported to the sovereign of Jericho, saying, See, men from the children of Israel have come here tonight to search out the land. And the sovereign of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, Bring out the men who have come to you, who have entered your house, for they have come to search out all the land. And the woman had taken the 2 men and hid them. So she said, The men came to me, but they did not know where they were. But I did not know where they were from. Then it came to be, as the gate was being shut, when it was dark, that the men went out. I do not know where the men went. Pursue them quickly, so that you overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof, and hidden them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid out on the roof. And the men pursued them by the way of the Jordan to the fords, and they shut the gate afterwards as soon as the pursuers had gone out. And before they lay down, she came up to them in the roof, and she said to the men, I know that Yahweh has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen on us, and all the inhabitants of the land melt away because of you. For we have heard how Yahweh dried up the water of the Sea of Reeds for you when you came out of Mizraim, and what you did to the two sovereigns of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you put under the ban meaning. And when we heard, our hearts melted, and there was no spirit left in anyone because of you. For Yahweh your Elohim, He is Elohim in the heavens above and the earth below. And now please swear to me by Yahweh, since I have shown you loving commitment, that you also show loving commitment to my father's house, and shall give me a true token. And spare my father and my mother and my brothers and my sisters and all that they have, and shall deliver our lives from death. And the men said to her, our lives for yours. If you do not expose this matter to ours, then it shall be. When Yahweh has given us the land, that we shall treat you in loving commitment and truth. So she let them down by a rope through the window of her house was on the city wall, and she dwelt on the wall. And she said to them, go to the mountain, lest your pursuers come upon you, and you shall hide there 3 days until the pursuers have returned, and afterwards go your way. And the men said to her, we are released from this oath of yours which you have made us swear, unless when we come into the land, you bind this line of scarlet cord in the window through which to let us down. And unless you bring your father and your mother and your brothers and all your father's household to your own home. And it shall be that anyone who goes outside the doors of your house into the street, his blood is on his own head, and we are innocent. And anyone who is with you in the house, his blood is on our head if a hand is laid on him. Saying, hey, yo, all right, look, you stay here, cool. Anything happens, it takes it out on us. You go outside the door, I'm not responsible for that. And she said, let it be according to your words. And she sent them away, and they went away. And she bound the scarlet cord to the window, and they left and came to the mountain, stayed there 3 days until the pursuers returned. And the pursuers sought them in all the way, but did not find him. Then the two men returned and came down from the mountain and passed over. And they came to Joshua, son of Nun, and related to him all that had befallen on them. And they said to Joshua, truly, Yahweh has given all the land into our hands, and also all the inhabitants of the land have melted away because of us. That was the end of Joshua 1 and 2. We'll be moving on to Psalms 1 and 2. Blessed is the man who shall not walk in the counsel of the wrong, and shall not stand in the path of sinners, and shall not sit in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahweh, and he meditates in his Torah day and night. For he shall be as a tree planted by the rivers of the water, that yields its fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither. And whatever he does prospers. The wrong are not so, but are like the shaft which the wind blows away. Therefore the wrong shall not rise in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahweh knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wrong one comes to naught. Psalms 2. Why do the nations rage, and the peoples meditate emptiness? The sovereigns of the earth take their stand, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his Messiah, and say, let us tear apart their bonds and throw away their ropes from us. There is capitalized both in bonds and in ropes, signifying Yahweh and Yeshua. He who is sitting in the heavens laughs. Yahweh mocks at them. Then he speaks to them in his wrath, and troubles them in his rage, saying, but I have set my sovereign on Zion, my set-apart mountain. I inscribe for a law. Yahweh has said to me, you are my son. Today I have brought you forth. Ask of me, and I make the nations your inheritance, and the ends of the earth your possession. Break them with a rod of iron, dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. And now be wise, O sovereigns, be instructed, you rulers of the earth. Serve Yahweh with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the chosen, also kiss the Son, lest he be enraged, and you perish in the way. For soon his wrath is to be kindled. Blessed are all those taking refuge in him. In the way. In Yeshua's time, when he's here and takes human form, that's one of the three things that they call his ministry, the way. That ends the Psalms. Proverbs 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, sovereign of Israel, for knowing wisdom and discipline, for understanding the words of understanding, for receiving the discipline of wisdom, righteousness, right ruling, and straightness, for giving insight to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. The wise one hears and increases learning, and the understanding one gets wise counsel. For understanding a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise the wisdom and discipline. My son, heed the discipline of your father. Do not forsake the Torah of your mother, for they are a fair wreath on your head and chains about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not give in. If they say, come, let us lie in wait for blood. Let us ambush the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, and entirely like those going down to the pit. Let us find all precious goods. Let us fill our houses with spoil. Cast you into lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep your foot from their path, for their feet run to evil, and they hurry to shed blood. For in vain the net is spread in the sight of any that possess a wing. But they lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush their own lives. Such are the ways of everyone greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the broad places. At the head of the noisy street, she cries out. At the opening of the gates in the city, she speaks her words. How long, you simple ones, would you love simplicity? And shall scoffers delight in their scoffing, and fools hate knowledge? Turn at my reproof. See, I pour out my spirit on you. I make my words known to you, because I called and you refused. I stretched out my hand and no one inclined. And you spurn all my counsel, and would not yield to my reproof. Let me laugh at your calamity. Mock when your dread comes. When your dread comes like a storm, and your calamity comes like a whirlwind. When distress and anguish come upon you, Let them call upon me, but I answer not. Let them seek me, but not find me, because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. They did not accept my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore let them eat the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own counsels. For the turning away of the simple kills them, and the complacency of fools destroys them. But whoever listens to me dwells safely, and is at ease from the dread of evil. Okay, I've finished off the Proverbs. We're in Matthew, second writings or New Testament. Matthew 1. The book of the genealogy of Yeshua, Messiah, son of David, son of Abraham. Abraham brought forth Isaac, and Isaac brought forth Jacob, and Jacob brought forth Judah and his brothers. And Judah brought forth Perez and Zerhan by Tamar, and Perez brought forth Hezron, and Hezron brought forth Ram, and Ram brought forth Amminadab, and Amminadab brought forth Nahshon, and Nahshon brought forth Salmon, and Salmon brought forth Boaz, and Rahab, and brought forth Boaz by Rahab, and Boaz brought forth Obadiah by Ruth, and Obadiah brought forth Ishka, and brought forth David, the sovereign, and David the sovereign brought forth Solomon by Uriah's wife, and Solomon brought forth Raham, and Raham brought forth Abinram, and Abinram brought forth Asia, and Asia brought forth Yisaphat, and Yisaphat brought forth Joram, and Joram brought forth Urazi, and Urazi brought forth Joab, and Joab brought forth Ahaz, and Ahaz brought forth Hezekiah, and Hezekiah brought forth Manasseh, and Manasseh brought forth Amon, and Amon brought forth Yeshohi, and brought forth Yacon and his brothers at the time of the exile of Babel. And after the exile of Babel, Yacon brought forth Shilhite, and Shilhite brought forth Zubarel, and Zubarel brought forth Abadai, and Abadai brought forth Abner, and Abner brought forth Eliquai, and Eliquai brought forth Azor. Matthew was very thorough. And Azor brought forth Sador, and Sador brought forth Aquin, and Aquin brought forth Eliad, and Eliad brought forth Elazar, and Elazar brought forth Mahat, and Mahat brought forth Jacob. And Jacob brought forth Joseph, the husband of Miriam, of whom was born Yeshua, who was called Messiah. And all the generations from Abraham to David were 14 generations, and from David until the exile to Babel were 14 generations. And from the exile, until the exile of Babel were 14 generations, and from the exile of Babel to the Messiah were 14 generations. But the birth of Yeshua, Messiah, was as follows. As his mother Mary, was engaged to Joseph before they came together, she was found to be pregnant from the set-apart Spirit, Holy Spirit. And Joseph, her husband, being righteous and not wishing to make a show of her, had in mind to put her away secretly. But while he thought about this, see, a messenger of Yahweh appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Miriam as your wife, for that which is in her was brought forth from the set-apart Spirit. And she shall give birth to a son, and you shall call his name Yeshua, and he shall save his people from their sins. And all this came to be in order to fill what was spoken by Yahweh through the prophet, saying, See, an Almon shall conceive, and she shall give birth to a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, from Isaiah 7:4, which translates, El is with us. And Joseph, awaking from his sleep, did as the messenger of Yahweh commanded, and took his wife, but knew her not until she gave birth to her son, the firstborn, and he called his name Yeshua. Thank you for indulging me in this. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father. Make it a great day. Shalom.